It's it's time to breathe again on the latest Breath of Fresh Air webcast. So I am Charles. You have Patrick with me as he is getting ready, getting his notes prepared.
Getting ready for the getting ready.
And we have a lot to cover. So you know how we do, Patrick. It is the football review and preview of college football in the NFL, and the first college football playoff rankings came out. So we will get to that in a little bit after we do the review and preview. But for the review, what caught your eye from last weekend?
Oh, dude, there's so many things that caught my eye this week, man. It was a good week of football, dude. It
It was.
really, really was. Few upsets, and the way I judge upsets is if you are 25 or higher and you are playing a top 25 team. So if this is a top 25 uh, game, that is not, to me, that is not a that's an underdog team or no, I don't play that. If they're ranked 26 or below and they play a top 25 team, then that's an upset. But if you're ranked 25 or higher and both of them, that is not an upset. So just so everybody knows that, that's the way I look at it. So if if a 25 beats one, that's not an upset. There's a reason why they're 25. I'm just saying. Okay. With that being said, tons of stuff going on last week, man. Miami beating Pitt. I mean, Pitt was on a roll and looking like they could be ACC favorites, which I guess they still could be, but this is that Miami team that everybody was expecting to see. The ones that can roll in to another team in their own stadium, away from home. This is what they were expecting. This is the Miami team that people were expecting. And they happen to show up sometimes. They happen to show up other times. Most of the time they don't. But they showed up last week and they put it on Pitt. I mean, it wasn't like a beat down 38-34 Miami, but it doesn't change the fact that is an upset to me.
Is the U back?
No, it's not bad.
Okay, sorry.
And I'm totally understanding that you are going to ask me that every time I bring up Miami, but no, they are not back yet. So, Wisconsin putting it on Iowa, dude. They came to play, bro.
Yeah, Iowa can't score.
But true. But Wisconsin can't score either, and they did. So I'm just saying.
Okay. I honestly think it was going to be the first 1 to 10 wins, but
I was thinking the first 1 to 2, Miles. Just get the safety, man. Get the safety. Got it, man. Nobody else is scored. Michigan State, dude. What a freaking comeback. Congratulations to that Mississippi State team. We find out the one thing that we've been waiting to find out. Is Michigan for real? Apparently not. But we still got to find out if Michigan State's for real. So congratulations to that Michigan State team for a great comeback. I mean, they were down 16 points at one point. Came back, fought it off, won at home. Michigan, figure it out because the thing about Texas and Baylor, dude, Texas just cannot finish, man. They've got to get some depth. Still stuck on that. Got to get some depth. But
it's not depth, Patrick. Not right now. It's not. No, dude. The play calling. The play calling.
Oh, that play calling was pretty bad night.
Yeah.
It was.
I mean, look, depth would help. I'm not trying to say depth isn't no factor, but the play calling, you're coming out aggressive in the first half, and then in the second half, you just stop going over people's heads. Just try to bog down. It's like you're just trying to play prevent offense. It's disgusting.
Yeah. But I still feel Texas is going to be a good team come next year. They got a lot to build on, and I think they'll be fine next year. They got to find a way to finish some games, though, dude. Got to
third in a row.
Third in a row. But hey, good things are coming, man. I feel it. I really do. West Virginia beating Iowa State, dude. That was and it was a good game. That was actually a really good game. I watched bits and pieces of it, um, but that was a good game. Um, what was the other one? Hold on, I'm looking. Auburn beating Ole Miss. Bo Nix is like, where did he? That kid's for real this year. He's
Well,
playing really well.
he made a fundamental change, Patrick, because he was over here trying to play backyard football, and that's not going to work all the time with him. Stay in the pocket a little bit, go through your reads, and run when it's necessary. That's what he's been doing in the last couple of games against Arkansas and in this one against Ole Miss. If you get that, Bo Nix, Auburn is very dangerous now.
Yes, they are. They are very dangerous. Um, Mississippi State beating Kentucky. Did not see that one coming. But you know what? Kentucky just could not. They were playing a bunch of couldn't get right. They were heavily penalized in that game. I was really shocked that Kentucky did not play Kentucky football. And that's kind of weird saying because we have never said that before, me and you. But this year it was kind of weird when I was looking at that game. I was like, Kentucky is just not playing Kentucky football. They're not playing the Kentucky football that got them 6-0. They're playing the Kentucky football that got them 0-6. So they need to
In years past.
yeah, they need to wrap that up and get that out of here and come back with those strong finishes and run the freaking ball. That's what got you 6-0, and then all of a sudden now you want to pass all the time. Come on, yeah, you got to go back to running the ball. Obviously, I gotta mention my Georgia Bulldogs. I'm going to tell you right now, man, and I know I'm rattling a lot, but I'm going to tell you right now, Georgia's defense, okay, they're for real. But man, I'm going to tell you, if we go against Alabama or Texas A&M, if our offense is not scoring, we are going to struggle in those games. I'm going to tell you right now. So that offense has got to do something about starting to score. Now I know we're starting to look at getting. Hopefully, we're starting to look at getting our wide receivers and our tight end back. But man, they have got to score on offense. They have got to, or we're going to be hurting. What was the other one? That was it. I don't really have any other than that.
Yeah, those games with Ole Miss and Auburn. Going back to that one, like I said, man, I don't know if it was the head coach Brian Hartson just kind of got into Bo Nix's head a little bit, and I think what happened was they got blasted at home by Georgia, and at that point, something must have been said like, "Hey, man, these defenses, you're not going to continue to just run around like that and think you're going to make plays. They're going to eat you up out here." And Georgia's defense was eaten that day. So it turned into, hey, stay in the pocket, go through the reads. We'll set you up. We'll give you some receivers in terms of patterns to run. Make sure you get easy completions, and we'll take shots, and then use your athleticism to start to get first downs if the play starts to break down, if the protection starts to break down. He's just playing a smarter overall game. And like I said, if you get that, Bo Nix, you got a dangerous Auburn team. They have a good defense. They have weapons on offense. If the quarterback is going to come with that, Auburn, as a matter of fact, look, Auburn is going to play Texas A&M next week, and we'll get to the preview in a minute. But they're going to play Texas A&M next week, and then they have Alabama, of course, coming in. Auburn can still come out the West. They only have the one conference loss to Georgia, so they are a big time player in this. And them beating Ole Miss, if they didn't know that already, they announced it with that win over Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin, you just stop gambling. I mean, I get it. You want to continue to gamble, but dude, the gambles just aren't smart. Sometimes take the points, take the 3, cut your losses. You're over here, you're trying to go for it on these 4th and 2s, and then you're calling these crazy run plays, and it's 4th and whatever, and then you got what's his name, Matt Corral over here just trying to just throw across the body into the end zone and get it picked. And like you have to. Kiffin is going to have to settle that down, or the Ole Miss is going to be where they're at. Pretty good, but when it comes down to winning big time games on the road, we'll put it that way. When you got to go on the road and you got to play a little bit better, a little bit smarter, the room for error is not as much. You got to tone it down. And I mean, you can still stay aggressive, but be smart about the aggressiveness. In the games against Alabama and Auburn on the road, Lane Kiffin has not been that, and it has put his team behind the 8 ball. Georgia, they basically won it in the last couple of minutes in the second quarter. They went on a 21-point streak.
In a minute and 48 seconds, bro. I walked away from that game. I was thinking, okay, 3-0 at the half. I'm gonna go get me some tea. I gotta go, use the bathroom and all that stuff. And I come back, man, and I was like, 24-0. Let's see how that happened, because I was kind of set that this was going to be 3-0 and this is going to be a battle. That's what I was expecting. This is going to be a battle in the second half. We're going to figure it out, see how it goes. No, 2 interceptions. One was a pick 6. I was like, it just kind of fell apart for Florida at that point, and they were never able to come back.
Yeah, and so it was from 3-0 to 24-0, and that was all she wrote. The Michigan State game. So Kenneth Walker, to me, the running back for Michigan State, that's the front runner for the Heisman right there, to me. I know it's taboo nowadays to put anybody up there besides a quarterback, but Kenneth Walker is that guy. And if Texas was having a better season, our running back, Deshaun Robinson, would be a Heisman Trophy favorite. But Kenneth Walker is that guy right now. And all right, I say it's taboo, but they did have a wide receiver win the Heisman last year in Devontae Smith. So, all right, maybe it's changing a little bit, but I don't know. Kenneth Walker would be my favorite, though. But very good comeback for Michigan State in that game. You mentioned... Was it okay? Man, you went through a lot of games. Okay, yeah, Iowa State. I felt like they could go to West Virginia and win, but that is a tough place to play in Morgantown. And Iowa State, their defense was not there. Normally their defense is a little bit better than what they showed. West Virginia put up 38 points on them, and Iowa State just couldn't score enough. So this is what happened there. And then you got let's see. There was another game that was sticking out to me too. That I was watching. Oh yeah. Ohio State and Penn State actually turned out to be a better game than I thought. I thought Ohio State was going to kind of go in there and just kind of blow them out. Penn State actually hung in there, just could not quite score enough. But they played Ohio State pretty tough there. And look, Ohio State, I still say they're kind of clear in the favorite to win the Big Ten, but hey, Michigan State could get them. They got to get a better passing game, though. But Michigan State could get them, and then we'll see with Michigan. I just don't have any faith in Michigan. But I mean, that's where I'm at with the review, man. Did you have anything to cover before we move on to the preview?
Nope.
All right. Well, then, with that said, Patrick, what are you previewing?
Oh, dude. This is a bunch of teams that are probably going to get beat that are ranked right now, man. I am curious about one game. One game is really, really sticking out to me, and that's Tennessee, Kentucky. Tennessee's starting to get some things figured out. They haven't really pulled off that win yet, but they are hanging in games. So I think they're starting to figure things out. I do think Kentucky will win this game because they are playing in Lexington. But Tennessee is looking strong, and they're getting stronger. So, look out for Tennessee in the future. Maybe not this year, but next year, because I think they're like 4-4 right now. But man, they're starting to figure some things out. They're starting to get it where they are possibly going to be a runner in the SEC East next year.
What's going on, Grady? It's good to have you on the show with us again.
They can't score.
I'm going to disagree on that. Iowa is not going to win the Big Ten.
They can't score. They can't score.
They got to score a touchdown first.
But yeah, that Tennessee-Kentucky game is going to be good. Arkansas, Mississippi State. That's going to be a good one. I got Arkansas winning that one actually outright. Like, I don't care what the spread says. Arkansas is going to beat that one outright.
Playing in Fayetteville, so I mean that kind of helps.
It does help a lot, but I think Arkansas is going to put that whoop ass on them. Is what I think. Truthfully, I mean, like I would not be.
Mississippi State is scrappy though, man, and they're coming off that win over Kentucky. I don't know. Oh. And they beat A&M. They beat A&M in College Station this year.
Well, and that's fantastic. But we all know this is a week-to-week sport, and this week they about to get that ass whipped.
What score do you have in that game? I think it's going to be close.
You think it's going to be close? I actually got Arkansas winning by 14+.
Do you? You that high on Arkansas, man?
I'm that high on Arkansas on this game, yes. I mean, like 30-14.
Okay. All right. That is very confident. I
am very confident in Arkansas. I think Arkansas will win that game. I think Arkansas is going to. I think Arkansas is going to tear them up. Another game that I'm looking at is Wake Forest in North Carolina.
Dangerous game.
Very dangerous game. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to lie to you. I got North Carolina winning that game too. Not as confident as Arkansas, but I do have North Carolina winning that game. And then there was one more, Auburn, Texas A&M. That one's going to be quite the that one's going to be high scoring from both teams, man. I really feel that. Would not surprise me if this game goes because we haven't seen one in the SEC where it's just like an all out. Well, I mean, I think we've seen one, but we haven't seen that all out offense. You know what I mean? Like, this game wouldn't surprise me if there's 100 points between the two of them.
100 points?
Seriously, like 55-50.
I think the defenses are better than that, man. I don't see it going that high. I can see it in the 30s, though. I can see like a 35-31 game, and I honestly think Auburn can come in there and win that. Now,
I do too.
Here's your caveat.
Bo Nix
says.
We'll see what Bo Nix does.
Yeah, if he comes in here trying to be Superman, trying to play hero ball, no, it's not going to happen. But if you get, like what we were talking about earlier, if you get that Bo Nix that's been playing smart, using his legs when it's necessary, playing from the pocket, giving a good mix, Auburn can beat anybody. Well, okay, maybe except Georgia, but I think
proven.
Anything else?
No, that's the games I'm looking at. A lot of the other ones are like, I mean, you got Georgia versus Missouri. I mean, I'm hoping Georgia takes care of business with that. Pitt versus Duke. Pitt should go into that and beat them. But I don't see any other games that are just like, whoa, yeah, we gotta talk about that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely a trick. It's one of those tricky schedules where the games, when you're looking at it, it just kind of looks like there should be a lot of blowouts, but you know how it's been, especially this year.
This year has been crazy.
Yeah, these are the weeks where a lot of stuff can happen. So, with that being said, Patrick, one of the games I am looking at is Michigan State at Purdue. Now, Purdue Of course, they gave Iowa their first loss. Then they came back and got beat by Michigan. Thanks, Grady. Legs are always necessary. You can't run the ball without them. I appreciate it, Grady. And so we got can Michigan State handle success? We always talk about when you're coming off those big wins, those what we would call statement wins. How are you going to handle it going forward? And this is one of those games that you just beat Michigan, in-state rival, emotional game, back and forth, physical game too. And then I love you too, Grady. And, and so then you got I know. Yep, we'll talk about that soon too. I did the Braves. If you, how do you handle the success, emotional win that they've had over Michigan, and now they're going on the road to West Lafayette. Purdue just kind of waiting, laying in wait. Can Michigan State get back up, pick it up, and do what they can? So, and then here's another thing though with that game. So you beat Michigan last week. You got Purdue this week, and I think either next week or the week after, they're going to Columbus to play Ohio State. So there is you got big games sandwiched around this.
Yeah.
So you gotta be careful if you're Michigan.
You got that soggy bread on both sides, and that porterhouse meat right in the middle. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really want to eat that sandwich.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
and so that's what Michigan State has to look out for. Auburn, Texas A&M, you talked about that one, covered it pretty what's the word? Comprehensively. There we go. Pretty comprehensive coverage of that one. This game is really just for positioning in the SEC West. We know Alabama is right there too, but with A&M having the tiebreaker on Alabama, because of head-to-head competition, A&M does have to keep pace because they already have the 2 conference losses. So they definitely need this to stay in there. And Auburn still has to play Alabama. They got everything still out there in front of them. Yep. So this is a huge game on a lot of fronts in College Station coming up with Auburn and A&M. Other than that, like you said, I mean, Georgia, they got Missouri coming in. They should handle that. Wake Forest, UNC. That's another game that is going to be tricky for Wake Forest there, especially now with them being in your top 10 and your college football rankings, which we're about to get into. Ohio State, Nebraska, potentially tricky for Ohio State, but they should handle that. And then we got, Tennessee and Kentucky. Tennessee gave Alabama a lot last week as well. Or not last week, the week before. They gave Alabama a lot to handle, and then Alabama was finally able to pull away in the fourth quarter.
Grady, on that comment, Alabama is a freak show, and me and Charles covered this one episode where when Alabama does get beat, you don't want to be the next team that plays Alabama, because normally that's a beat down, because Nick Saban, he's calm when he's losing, but when he gets into the locker room, that is one man. I can tell you, I'm 40 years old and I'll walk out there and be like, you SOBs, I swear to God, if I lose another game and have to have that yell at me again, I'm going to get your ass. you know what I'm saying? So Alabama is a freak show. They really are, because they don't lose very often for long periods of times after taking a loss. So yeah, you're absolutely right. They tend to, they'll win out until possibly the SEC championship, fingers crossed. Georgia is going to have to put some offense together if they're going to beat Alabama, though. I mean, coming in and your defense scores more offense than your offense does, that's not going to beat Alabama. I don't know. I don't even know if Stetson Bennett is even the quarterback to even win that game. So Alabama is a freaking nature, man. They really are.
Yeah, they don't. make the same mistakes twice a lot of times. Yeah, Oklahoma. So they got a schedule coming on up where they got to see Baylor, Iowa State, and Oklahoma State. Uh, I mean, they look good against Texas Tech, but they've been just kind of skating by. We're about to jump into that now. But do you have anything else on this schedule before we move into these rankings?
No.
All right. Well, let's get to those college football playoff rankings that just came out about a couple hours ago. And your top four, Patrick, it is so I'm gonna say if the committee, but okay, but before we even get started, because we always have these
We're about to dissect the crap out of this, yes.
But I mean, there's gonna be a week to week thing. And look, we always say when it comes to the rankings, hey, let's chill, let this stuff play itself out. But if we are to believe the committee is about what they say, which is they want the best 4 teams to play in these playoff games. What we have right now, right here, with Georgia being number 1, Alabama being number 2, Michigan State being number 3, and Oregon being number 4, I'm honestly not mad at that. Now, Cincinnati. Cincinnati sitting at number 6, and Ohio State, of course, is number 5. We know this is a Power 5 invitational. They are not trying to put Cincinnati in there. Let's get that out the way. We already understand this. They want the teams, the Power 5 conferences are the ones that are going to bring the most money in there. And Cincinnati is going to be on the outside looking in 9 times out of 10. So regardless of what those polls said, which both of them had Cincinnati number 2. This one, the rankings, they got them at number 6. But if they're saying Georgia, Alabama, Michigan State, and Oregon are your best 4 teams, putting Oregon a spot above Ohio State, which probably is due to that win they had in Columbus earlier in the year, then I'm not mad at this. I'm all right with this right now. Like I said, I understand Cincinnati's going to get screwed, but
look, I'm not mad at it either. This is going to come weird coming from me because you know that this ain't going to be taken lightly when I say this. So prepare yourself. I would have put Ohio State at 4. And the reason why is because Oregon and their loss to
Stanford.
To Stanford, which was an unranked team at the time. To me, that win over Ohio State is greatly outshadowed by that loss to Stanford. So I would have put Ohio State at 4. I'm not mad at it because obviously it's going to play itself out and it's going to work its way in. And everything is going to fall into place. I am disappointed for the fact that Cincinnati does get kind of screwed out of the whole thing because they're playing really well. But again, like you said, it's about money. It's about what's going to bring in the most money, what's going to bring in the most fans. And unfortunately, Cincinnati just does not have that. They don't have
the Power 5 conference.
And they're not in
just that simple.
Yeah. So it sucks. I do hope that, in the future they do go to that 8 team. I think 8 teams would be perfect. I think there has been talk about 12. I think you mentioned that, several months earlier.
Cincinnati's supposed to go to the Big 12, by the way, in a few years as well.
Yeah, they're going in 2025, probably earlier, depending on the exodus of Texas and Oklahoma. I would assume that Cincinnati probably will step in as soon as they are gone.
It's happening like next year or the year after.
Yeah, it's like I mean, as soon as the Longhorn Network is dissolved, where they don't have that contract anymore, I guarantee you Texas is like, Oklahoma, let's go. We got to go. We got to go. But I really hate the fact that Cincinnati is on the outside looking in, but hey, they understand it as well as anybody else does, and that's the reason why they're going to be at 6. They're probably not going to jump any higher unless one of those 5 teams lose. I mean, that's the only way they're going to get up there. And even then, are you going to look at? I mean, I would look at a undefeated Cincinnati team better than a 2-loss Ohio State team, and that's pending if Michigan State does get Ohio State, or even Michigan gets them. And I would definitely look at them over a 2-loss Oregon as well. But a 1-loss Oregon, or a 1-loss Ohio State, or a 1-loss Michigan State, or a 1-loss Alabama, or a 1-loss Georgia.
It looks bleak. It looks bleak for Cincinnati, man. Like it does. If you put them at number 6 right now, and you have all those other teams that you just mentioned in front of them, I mean, it looks tough. Now, granted, Oregon's looking at Oregon's schedule. They'll have a tough game. They'll have a tough game in a couple of weeks coming up at Utah. They can get got in Salt Lake City. We mentioned Michigan State and Ohio State. They're going to play each other, so that's going to play itself out. And then Georgia and Alabama, potentially they'll play each other too in the SEC championship game. So I'll take that back about it looking bleak for Cincinnati, because there's teams that will lose in front of them.
Yeah,
it's just how far do they drop? It's who it is and how far do you drop them out? Like you said, Michigan State's undefeated. So if they get beat by Ohio State and it's a close game in Columbus, Michigan State's probably not dropping that far. Maybe a spot or two.
Maybe switch places.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Ohio State will probably flip. They'll flip-flop. Exactly. And then Georgia and Alabama, same thing. How far do you drop one of those two if it's a close game?
Yeah.
And then you have Oregon. Now, Oregon, if they catch a L, they're done to me, because that'll already be 2 losses. I think they would be pretty much eliminated from there. So I said at the beginning it looked bleak for Cincinnati, but maybe not. As long as Cincinnati still, they have no room for error, though. They have to blow these teams out, whoever it is that's on their schedule left. I know they have SMU coming up. They'll probably, the way it looks right now, meet Houston in the American Athletic Conference Championship game. Houston, I think, has 1 loss right now, so that could be some points right there. But they can't mess around. And winning by real quick. Winning by like small margins to Navy and Tulane. That's not helping.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. It has to be blowouts. And even on top of that, you still have to look at the 3 teams that's underneath them: Michigan, Oklahoma, and Wake Forest. Again, Power 5 conferences. Michigan beats Ohio State. You're not gaining anything. That's just a flip-flop. You know what I'm saying? So you have to watch out for not only are you having to look forward to the 3 teams that's in front of you, because Georgia and Alabama, I'm kind of, maybe a little biased on this, but they're in there for a lock. You know what I'm saying? Those 2 teams have proved to me, without a shadow of a doubt, that there's probably going to be 2 SEC teams in the championship, or in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Unless something crazy happens and Alabama loses to Auburn and it just gets kind of thrown out in something crazy.
See, I don't think that would be crazy, though. Like, if Auburn was to beat Alabama and that game's in Auburn too this year, that's not me personally. I don't think that's crazy. I mean, I know Alabama.
I'm not saying just that one scenario. I'm talking like Alabama taking 3 losses. That would be crazy.
So you would put them still in the playoffs if they have 2 losses?
Alabama?
Yeah.
No, because I'm just saying that something is going. There's so much stuff that has to happen for Cincinnati to make that move, because a two loss. I don't know. It would be hard to tell because a two-loss Alabama is still probably going to play Georgia in the SEC, and if SEC championship Alabama wins,
But see, that's the thing, Patrick. They wouldn't. If Auburn beats Alabama,
it'd be
they
Texas A&M.
would,
Right.
yeah.
You're
Or
right.
Auburn would get it, depending on their record.
Well, if that's the case, I forgot about that. I forgot that Texas A&M beat them. So they would win the head to head, unless Texas A&M takes a loss to Arkansas, which I have this week. So I don't know. There's a lot that goes to that, but
Arkansas already beat A&M.
huh?
Arkansas already beat A&M.
Who do I have beating A&M tonight? Who do I have Arkansas winning against?
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State. That's who it is. Never mind. Sorry. I forgot it. God, I got to get my head. Overall, so we can move on. Overall, Cincinnati does not only have to pay attention to the three teams in front of them, they have to pay attention to the three teams behind them as well. That's what I'm trying to say. So, with that being said, Cincinnati, it's doable, but I agree with you after your first statement. I feel that it is a little bleak for them.
Yeah, they just them being a group of 5 team, and we know the committee doesn't want that. They're like, that's it. It's garbage, but money, man, money just drives it all, unfortunately. So, well, all right then, Patrick. Well, we'll be looking out for these rankings as it gets closer to that time for the final ones after the championship Saturday that comes through. I think on the first Saturday, in December. But yeah, man. Thanks, Grady. You so when we look at the NFL, what do you have that caught your eye from last week?
So the first game, first and foremost, that Green Bay Arizona game, that was a heck of a game and a crazy ending. That was Green Bay pulled it out, man, and good for them. Beat Arizona, who was undefeated at the time. So that was a good game. Watching that one, it was really good. San Francisco and Chicago. San Francisco looked pretty good. Again, it's Chicago, but they look pretty good. I mean, I'm in Chicago. I don't know what else to say. Philly with the beat down to Detroit.
Oh, Detroit. They might go 0-17.
They might, unless they play a certain team that I told you I would not mention for the rest of the time this season played.
Hey, do they play? I think they play them though, right?
Do they? I mean, I can look it up. But let me finish my review and then I'll look it up.
If you're talking about your favorite team, yeah, they play them. I think.
Then they might go 1-16.
All right, sorry.
I'll put it at that. That's the way it is. Because,
my bad.
That Tennessee Indianapolis game, man. Told you it was going to be pretty good. That was a really good game.
I was with you. I had the Colts winning the game, actually. Now they lost it in overtime, but
I think I had the Colts winning that game too, didn't I? I think I did. It was a good game though. It was a really good game. I was not mad the fact that they lost. But it was a good game. I have to admit. What was the other one? Cincinnati getting beat by the Jets, bro. Seriously?
Week to week, Patrick.
It's a week-to-week league. I know, man, but I looked at that and I went, BS. Somebody paid that off. Mac Jones looked good against the Chargers.
Yeah, absolutely, you did. Hey, good night, Grady.
Good night, Grady. Have a good one, man.
Yeah, you too. Yep. Thanks for getting on there with us, man, and talking to us a little bit.
Yeah, man. You have a good night. Thank you. What was the other one? That was a good game against Tampa Bay and New Orleans. Tampa Bay fought, but man, they just couldn't pull it together. And Kansas City, finally, they got a win.
Did you have anything else before I?
No, that was it.
All right, the Chiefs. For all the people who are waiting for this Kansas City renaissance, this rebirth, I think it's time to be prepared that it may not happen. Like, these might be the games you're going to get for Kansas City. They do not look good. Just simply put, they are not the team that we saw in the 2 or 3 years past with this explosive offense, and then the game is over before the first quarter starts. It's not that. Teams have caught up. The defenses have caught up, and they're forcing Kansas City to have to work their way down the field. And Patrick Mahomes, to be honest, Patrick, he's not patient. He's used to getting the big play, and he's going to try to extend plays, and sometimes he's going to throw into coverage. And that's what you saw yesterday. A better team beats the Chiefs last night. And the Giants fight, man. They're beaten up and stuff. They just can't quite make the plays. Like yesterday, they were tied 17-17. They got a pick. Great play by the dude. He got a pick. But oh boy jumped off sides on the line, so it didn't matter. Stuff like that. That
There's
just
a lot of
just
hands
little
on him
detailed
for the
things.
Giants.
Yeah. It's these little detailed things that just come back to bite. Kansas City drove down, they got the field goal, and then the Giants couldn't do anything with their last drive, so Kansas City escaped. But yeah, that renaissance, we might have to be waiting a little bit for that. You mentioned Cincinnati getting beat by the Jets. Hey, week to week, man. And Cincinnati, we said it about a few of those teams in college. How do you handle success? The Bengals went to Baltimore, beat the hell out of the Ravens, and this is how they follow it up.
Yep.
Got to be able to handle success.
Losing to the Jets.
Yep, right. You gotta take care of your business, man, because you're on the highest of highs one week and the lowest of the lows next week. So now they're gonna have to pick it up. They got Cleveland coming in. You mentioned New England and Mac Jones. So Patrick, I'm gonna say it right here, right now, and then fact check me on this later on in the year. Look out for the Patriots and the Steelers. These two old guards are starting to get it together. And just think, New England could be 7-1. I mean, they lost by 1 point to Miami, they lost in overtime to Dallas, and they lost by 2 points to Tampa Bay. Like, New England could be 7-1 right now, but they're 4-4. But it looks like they are starting to get it together. Good win for them in LA against the Chargers. And the Steelers went to Cleveland and beat the Browns 15-10. The Steelers have a really good defense. If Ben Roethlisberger can just show any little bit of consistency, the Steelers are dangerous too. And the running game is starting to get going with Najee Harris.
Yeah.
So those two teams, look out. Old guards. You got all this new blood in there with the Bengals and the Raiders. The Ravens are normally pretty good. Tennessee has been pretty good lately. But, hey, the Patriots and Steelers in the AFC, man, look out for them. I don't think they'll be going quietly. And then there was a couple other guys. Yeah, you mentioned Tampa Bay and New Orleans. Very good win for the Saints. Their defense got it together after giving up a few big plays. And we'll get to those injuries here in a little bit. But, yeah, Jameis Winston gone for the year.
Yep.
Tore his ACL. I'm not a Saints fan. But, and I know you're not. I know you're not. But,
no, I'm not. But I'm celebrating over something else.
No, I hear you. But I did want to see Jameis do well. I did. I wanted to see him kind of be able to resurrect his career, and who knows, he still might. But this is a big time setback for him. To tear his ACL like he did on that tackle, and it wasn't a malicious play on Devin White's end. You just kind of you tried to grab the back, you're trying to make the tackle, and his knee got caught in a awkward position. So tough break there for the Saints, but they were able to carry on and find a way to beat the defending Super Bowl champs.
Yep.
The Packers, dangerous. Just put it that way right now. They went in there without their top three receivers and beat the only undefeated team in the league. So the Packers, and you and I, we never counted the Packers out. These other people wanted to, but they got Aaron Rodgers, man. I don't care what anybody says. Aaron Rodgers was not going anywhere, and people still saying, "Well, this will probably be his final year." I still haven't seen anything that says it's going to be his final year in Green Bay. I don't think he wants to leave Green Bay. I think his thing is just with the management, but I
You
don't
see
think
how he's playing?
right.
He's not going. It's not his final year.
No,
Still has to play team. I mean, it is what it is.
And again, Patrick, if he is really serious about winning a Super Bowl another Super Bowl title, his best chance to do that is probably where he's at right now.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's what caught my eye, man. You pretty much hit those games, because those were the same ones that kind of caught my attention too. 49ers, they needed that win. Finally got one in Chicago. What I will say about that one is Justin Fields played better. I don't think it's a coincidence that he played better when Matt Nagy was not coaching. So,
That's a good
I'll
point.
say that. I'll leave it there. But yeah, those are the things that kind of caught my eye, man. So, what are you looking for on the preview?
This will go really quick because I know we got other topics we got to get. So, New England, Carolina. I'm really looking forward to that. I want to see the success from Mac Jones, and I would like to see if Carolina can put something together because what is it? 3 straight wins, 4 straight wins, and then 4 straight losses. That's got to go better for them than that. So that's going to be a good game. I like to see that one. I'm gonna go crazy on this one and be like Houston and Miami might be a good game. I mean, yeah, it's the battle of the sucks, but it's going to be a good game. I mean, I think so. What's the other one? Arizona and San Francisco. This one, I don't know why, but this one is very intriguing to me. It is being played in San Francisco, and biggest question is how does Arizona bounce back from a loss? And we'll see. And next thing is San Francisco going to put it together and start putting together some wins? So I'm kind of curious about this game. This game is very intriguing to me. Matter of fact, this is probably the most intriguing game to me out of all of them. That one and the Tennessee Rams game. I want to see how that one goes. You mentioned Pitt earlier. They are playing Chicago, but this is where I feel we'll find out if Ben Roethlisberger is going to step his game up, and he can do this against that Chicago defense.
Gotcha, man. Packers and Chiefs. Looking forward to that one. To see, and then that one's going to be in Kansas City. So I just want to see what Kansas City team is going to show up, and can Green Bay just continue their hot?
I think you froze up, dude. So
Oh no. Okay, there I am. All right. And so Green Bay, the Packers and Chiefs is one. Titans and Rams.
starting to lose you a lot, man.
All right, man. We might have to just kind of battle on through for the last couple of minutes. Hopefully I can stay in here. But if the Titans and Rams,
All right. So I went through my preview, but I think the Titans and the Rams are going to be a really good game. Titans being 6-2, we're going to find out what kind of team they really are going against Matthew Stafford in that Rams offense and that Rams defense. I think that's probably what Charles is leaning towards. Those I really don't know. I really don't know what his games are, but I think that he will definitely be ready for the Arizona San Francisco game. Oh, there you are.
Thanks for carrying me through, Patrick.
Yeah,
What were you saying beforehand? I'm sorry.
I just finished what you were. How the Titans and the Rams. That's what you were talking about, and I just said I would like to see how the Titans can handle that Rams offense and defense, and especially going into LA and going against a tough defense, and how Henry is going to be able to run against that tough defense.
Oh, Patrick, you just carried me into the next topic. Now I'm gonna point out a couple more games, but yeah, we'll get to that in a bit with Derrick Henry. Um, but yeah, Cincinnati, Cleveland, another good one that I'm looking out to see how that turns out. And that yeah, that's about it. The other games, I mean, I'll just keep an eye on them just to see. The Falcons and Saints could be a decent one as well. But just because it's that rivalry. So we'll see how that one carries out. But you mentioned Derrick Henry, talked about Jameis Winston and his injury. Derrick Henry is gone maybe for the season. Has
Is
a foot
he?
injury.
Oh, I didn't think
Yeah.
it was that bad.
They don't know. So he has surgery today. There are thoughts it might be for the season. Now, the Titans said that he's out indefinitely, but the thinking, from what I've heard, the thinking around the Titans people is he can get back before the playoffs. Now, Tennessee is in a unique spot. They're 3 games up on the Indianapolis Colts, having swept the season series. So, most likely they have the AFC South locked up. Most likely. And I think they have enough to get by in terms of getting enough wins to salt away that division. But man, the injuries that kind of piled up with Derrick Henry, Jameis Winston, and then the trade deadline. Excuse me, the trade deadline passed today, and Patrick, go figure, Deshaun Watson still with the Texans. What?
Oh, go.
Oh my goodness!
I'm so shocked right now.
I know, right? What? Look, man, all this talk, like I said, if Miami did that, that would have been dumb. And then Houston is not trying to do Deshaun Watson any favors.
Nope.
Why would they let him? Why would they trade him now so he can suit up for somebody else when the NFL hasn't done anything? It's terrible, ridiculous.
I know. Update. I got to
So,
give you an update. The Atlanta Braves are up 6-0 right now.
what's the inning?
I was so into the score. It's got to be like the 6th, I think, 6th or 7th. But dude, Atlanta's up 6-0, bro.
Hopefully they can finish it out, man. You and I both picked the Braves to win the series, so hopefully they can finish it off.
I'm hoping so. I don't need this to go 7. I do not need the stress in my life.
Right.
Just like
Another thing also, Von Miller got traded to the Rams too.
ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's a nasty front that already has Aaron Donald in it.
Dang.
Who are you gonna double team? You know. So look,
that's nasty, man.
So this is the Rams going for it, man. And you know how it is. The Rams, they traded 2 first-rounders to get Jalen Ramsey. They traded 2 first-rounders to get Matthew Stafford. I think they traded a 2nd and a 3rd to get Von Miller. The Rams have no draft picks for the next 80 years. Okay. So since they have at least so since they have no draft choices for that long, this is it. You got this year and maybe next year to go ahead and get a Super Bowl ring, because if you don't get it these 2 years, it's not happening for the Rams. It's all the chips in there. That's what they're saying with this. They said, hey man, we already made these moves. We can do a little bit more to solidify the front. Yeah, let's get Von Miller. You know?
You talk about selling. You talk about selling the house. I mean, you have just killed all of your draft picks for the next for the rest of your life. So if you, as an owner, I'd be looking at that management going, all right, you better win, or you're not. We're gonna skip the hot seat. We're gonna skip the hot seat. We're gonna skip the fire seat. We're gonna skip everything, and I'm just gonna fire you. So
and
that you know
Patrick,
that that's on the table.
and Patrick, if you think about it, they're playing in Los Angeles. It's kind of the DNA with the LA teams. Go
Go
all
big or
in,
home.
get these all you get these high price free agents, make these trades to basically create super teams,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll just see how it works. But I, that front seven is going to be nasty.
Oh yeah. I mean, they moved up on my Super Bowl pick tremendously with that pick. But you know what? It's crazy. You're right. LA does like going into these super teams. But I'm gonna tell you, man, the Rams went crazy, but they went educated, and you can't blame them for that. That's just a nasty pickup. It's educated. It's a good guess, and it's a roll of the dice. But hey, high risk, high reward. That's what I always say. So good for them. Go and do it. Get it.
Yep. Yeah. And it's just one of those things, man, because like you said, high risk, high reward. If it doesn't work though, Patrick, ugh. Ugh.
Well, you were, hey, if it doesn't work, we'll make a phone call and we'll go make $250,000 a year.
to hand Gatorade out? Yeah, let's
Hey,
go.
no, you should know. We'll put some pads on. They can't afford anything else.
You know, that is
I'll
true.
put some pads on for $500,000 a year.
That's true, boy. We gonna get blasted. But yeah, you're right.
Hey, we get blasted all the way to the bank. I'll be like, ah.
Exactly, dude. Patrick, we're
I'll be,
not
I'll,
spring.
be, I'll be getting up with a bad back. I'll be like, did the check clear?
We're not spring chickens anymore, man. Like we gotta go out there, we gotta get blasted. We
I
gotta
don't care as long as the check clears.
knees blowed out.
They call us Grandpa Hop Along.
Yeah.
It don't matter. I just be looking at them and be like, did the check clear? Yes, it did. Then put me out there. Well, you got a cane. You can't go out there right now. Hold my cane.
Yeah. Gonna be we call Washington team generic. We gonna be team geriatric.
For real.
Hey Patrick, so real quick before we get in, you had mentioned the World Series and you got the Braves up 6-0 right now. Did you catch the inning that they're in right now?
No.
Patrick, come on, man.
I'll catch it right now. It won't take me long. Bottom of the fifth.
Bottom of the fifth. All right, so the Astros are still dangerous here. If you, I know Max Fried was pitching for the Braves. I don't know if he's still in there, but
I don't think so.
But I will say this, man. The way Snedker handled the two bullpen games, even though they lost game 5, was to me as good as you could have handled it. There's just you didn't have many options. I mean, once Charlie Morton went out,
the string together of game 4, Atlanta had to have. They had to have a game 4 win because come game 4, they were tapped out in their pitching. The only way that they're going to get get the reset was back in Houston. Because that's when Max Fried comes back and he gets, now you're back on rotation.
Yeah.
Game 4 and game 5, man, was just, I mean, literally when you throw, this is the thing. And I know that we got to get off here, but when you throw the pitcher that Atlanta threw out there, Lee, he had only pitched 4 2/3 inning coming into that game, or 4 1/3 inning coming into that game. Ace down in minor league But you're picking this kid up or this guy up. He's 27 years old. You're picking this guy up and saying, "Oh, by the way, you're starting tonight." I'm sorry, what? That's not how you. That's not. To me, that's not how you find out you're starting game 4 of a World Series. Oh, by the way, you know what I'm saying? So he didn't do well. He did strike out Brickman in the top of the first, but he left bases loaded, and the fact that I can't remember who came in after him.
Was it right?
Who?
Right.
Right? Maybe. Either way, the fact that he only held them to 1 run was amazing. That was amazing. And then he let him pitch 4 innings, which was phenomenal because Snigger didn't panic. That was the crazy thing. He didn't panic, and he's putting somebody out there going against Zach Greinke, who has pitched over 3,500 innings, going against Lee, who had only pitched 4 1/3 inning. That was crazy. So shout out to him, man, for managing that bullpen. Like you said, that was phenomenal how he managed it in game 4. And then he just had nothing. I mean, nothing in game 5. I mean, all the arms were spent. He's asking people to come in after they've pitched 3 games straight. Hey, give me an inning. Can you give me an inning? I'll see what I can do, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So he handled it very well, very well.
All right, man. And so we'll just keep an eye on it and see.
And Max Fried is actually still in the game. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. I wouldn't be surprised if Matt Fried wins 7 innings tonight, to be honest. And he's got a shutout now. I would leave him in. Yeah. And so, well, all right, Patrick. Well, let's get up out of here, man. That will wrap it up for this Breath of Fresh Air webcast. Latest edition. Y'all make sure y'all go to the Breath of Fresh Air YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button. My arm looked a little deflected there, and keep the likes coming on the Breath of Fresh Air Facebook page. Everybody take care, enjoy the games that are coming up, and we will see you next week. Y'all take care.